PhD Flopper has to be one of the best perks we have inside of Black Ops 6 Zombies, and with augments it just becomes that much better. So in today's video I want to go over all of the augments in detail and check out if they're worth your time unlocking. Two things before we start. Number one, we are super close to 47,000 subscribers, which I gotta thank you all so freaking much. We're on the goal to hitting 50,000 subscribers, and I can't believe we're getting closer and closer every single day. So just thank you so much if you have subscribed. I'm basically covering all of the augments and all of the perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades, and then after that I'm going to not only be talking about the best ones to unlock on everything, just overall a bunch of augment content. So if you want to check that out, or just overall different zombies videos, then consider subscribing. And also, if you're wondering how to unlock these augments really fast, as the time that this video is going up, double XP is live, so you can actually get these super fast. Basically go up to like round 26 or 31. Past round 21 your XP will start slowing down, but honestly pushing through to get to those higher and higher rounds, you will be making some solid progress, and that's kind of all you have to do. Unlock some camos in the meantime if you can, and just go up higher and higher rounds. But without further ado, let's get right into PhD and the first augment, which is the major augment. I'm going to also try to approach this video slightly differently from the other ones, where I'm going to be talking about two augments at the same time, because I think this perk works incredible with two augments activated. So the first one that we are starting off is called the Gravity MD Major Augment, which is described as just falling from heights creates explosions. If you don't know, PhD Flopper is essentially whenever you flop or dolphin dive, you will create an explosion. This just adds on the ability of jumping off of places, you will be able to create more explosions. And the minor augment that I would say for you to combine with this has to be the Eod Technician, because this one is described as slightly reduced height and distance requirements for explosions. The distance one we will be getting into just in a while, but the height one, I will be completely honest, I don't notice a ginormous difference. I tried to test out different ledges, different heights to jump off of, and it's not incredibly noticeable at least. But if you just combine these two, if you like the idea of jumping off of ledges and then creating an explosion, then I would maybe consider using it. It's personally not my favorite option, or at least two of my favorite augments combined together, just because it feels unnecessary in many ways. There's definitely a better major and minor augment to combine together, but just wanted to put this one out there. The next major augment that we're going to be looking at is called Dr. Ram, and this is where stuff gets really fun and really interesting, because tactical sprint knocks down enemies and damages base zombies. What I'd say with this one is you can actually pair it up with any of the minor augments that I will be going over, and essentially the way this works is anytime that you just activate your tactical sprint, which on controller you just double tap your sprint and you will get into the tactical sprint, and then you will be able to knock back zombies. The reason I think this is actually one of the best major augments, or just overall augments, and personally the one that I think I'm going to be opting out for all the time, is because the amount of times I train and just have a random zombie spawning in front of me, with this I can just knock them back, and even with insta-kill I can end up killing the zombies, which makes for some incredibly really easy escapes from being cornered, from just wanting to train and then a zombie spawns in front of you and wanting to knock them back. If you're wondering if this works on specifically elite zombies, it doesn't. So if you run into an Abomination or the Amalgam, you will not be able to push him back. I have tested this out in multiple different situations. One of the ones that I found this really useful and actually kind of fun to use was when I was doing the boss fight with my friends, and it was just pure chaos. I was able to sprint into the zombies and knock them back, and you won't actually be killing them unless you have an insta kill, but if they are low enough, or if they're actual crawlers, you can happen to just completely kill them. And this has to be one of my favorite major augments, and I would definitely recommend for you to consider using it. The next major augment that we have, or at least the last one, is called PhD Slider, which is where stuff gets really interesting, because personally I am more of the PhD Slider fan myself. If you don't know, back on Black Ops 4 and Cold War, they reimagined Flopper because there was no actual dolphin diving in those games. You were essentially able to slide into zombies, you created flames behind you, but also any zombies that you bumped into you blew up, and that's exactly what PhD Slider does on this. Sliding into enemies triggers explosions. Now this one is really cool, but honestly I find myself sliding a lot and I can get cornered very easily, but it definitely is one that I would either consider swapping out for the Dr. Ram or PhD Slider in the major augments. Every single time you slide into a zombie, you will be creating an explosion. The damage on it isn't incredible on, like, let's say elites and special zombies, but it is pretty good on normal zombies, and you'll probably find yourself using this way more than the flopper side of things. But I just wouldn't want to kill zombies myself in any of those kind of scenarios, because if it's either trying to train zombies for camos, I don't want to kill them with this thing, or if it's even for high rounding, I don't want to find myself sliding into zombies many times, because the amount of times you can just get cornered and surrounded in a circle is sometimes way too close. So maybe don't use this one if you plan to use that. But again, I'm not saying this is bad, it's pretty good. But to pair this up with a minor augment, it makes it even better. And I would even say maybe using this specific minor augment on its own is even better, because this is the Tribologist. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It is the last minor augment. The description says sliding distance and speeds are increased. This minor augment, I would just say use it on everything. Use it on Dr. Ram. Having the ability to slide a huge distance is so much help and such an easier route of getting around the map. Well, let's say stamina. This was like one of my favorite things to use on Cold War PhD slider. The fact that I was able to get around the map really fast. It doesn't seem to be as good as it used to be back then. I remember you were just able to slide off of any ledge and just go absolutely flying. Combining PhD slider and Tribologist is the way to go if you want to inflict a bunch of damage. But also Tribologist is really good with Dr. Ram, because again, Dr. Ram, you could just run into zombies, but if you just want to get around the map faster, then definitely pair it up with Tribologist, or again, any of the other ones. Dr. Ram is honestly one that you can pair with anything. And then we have our last augment, which is actually the first augment, but the reason I want to talk about it last is because this has to be the most useless thing we have inside of the game as of right now. I feel like this augment will become slightly more useful to use when we have future DLC maps and the maps themselves have environmental damage, because this augment is called Enviromentalist and the description says become immune to environmental damage while sliding. Honestly, the only place that I was able to discover that you actually take environmental damage and you can see any difference with sliding, because the fact that it's sliding is the issue in my opinion. The amount of times you slide and there's nothing on the maps specifically, that is super easy to see a big difference. And the thing that I was able to test it out on was actually that thing in Spawn that you use for the Easter egg in Liberty Falls. I'm pretty sure you don't take damage from it when you slide beside it, but how many times are you going to find yourself actually sliding next to it? I know it's a really good training spot to train in Spawn, but I don't know, I just feel like this is useless. I did make a community post where I asked you, my subscribers, or at least the viewers, to see what you think about this. Somebody suggested that it could be the boss fight inside of actual Terminus Island and the smokes that the like tentacles drop on you. But even with that, I feel like it's so specific that I wouldn't even want to use it for the boss fight. So unless there's a future map with so much environmental damage on it, like the first thing that can come to mind is lava, which is like what, transit, but I doubt we're going to be getting any like transit map on here. But hopefully we have something that actually inflicts a lot of environmental damage and this becomes more useful. Honestly, this Enviromentalist augment to me feels like Treyarch was just kind of like, oh crap, what do we do as like the last augment upgrade? Or they really did plan ahead with future DLC maps, because again, there's just nothing that I find myself using this on, specifically sliding. That's why I think lava would be the best option, because you could just slide across the lava and not take any damage. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will be covering future augments again. I'm probably going to be covering the rest of the perks because I'm nearly done with them for videos, and then we're going to be moving completely over to field upgrades and ammo mods. So if you again want to check that out, definitely be sure to subscribe. Please drop a like on the videos, that does really help out. Like seriously, that helps out incredibly. So thank you all so much, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.